Tutorial time. Welcome to the second tutorial for Dragon's Dogma 2 any percent runs. The first one was about New Game, and this one is gonna be about New Game Plus, which is substantially shorter and frankly a little bit more fun. I will again try to show all the different endings, or at least talk about what changes when you do different endings for these runs. But they're even closer to each other, so there's really almost no difference between these different endings. I will actually do the bad ending, but describe the rest. Also, I would try to show where you have choices regarding different strategies of approaching the run, routing choices, but there aren't as many as there were in the video about New Game, so it's gonna be substantially shorter. Alright, so as in the other video, I will start with external tooling. For this one, it's really important. I honestly don't know how you approach New Game Plus on console, because there's a tool that is basically a lifesaver when doing New Game Plus runs, and that is the Dragon's Dogma 2 Save Manager. This is an external tool that you can run while running the game. You're allowed to use it for replacing your save games before you start a run, but of course during the run you can only load save games that you created during that run. It is pretty much a tool that backs up your save games while they are created automatically by the game, and you can give them names and load them later on, back them up, load them later on. So in this case I have a save game that I always use for NG+. As you can see from the title, it is my fourth iteration, so I did some changes to my character, figuring out different ways to approach this run, and this is what I converged on. Whenever you start a New Game Plus run, what you do is you close the game, you just double click the save game here, so there will be others on top here. I just deleted them. I always delete them before I start a run. You load your save game that you know is for starting a run by double clicking it, and then just start the game and click load from last save. Apart from this tool, which is extremely handy, there isn't really any external tools. As I said in the other video, no one really uses any FPS limiters because they do not give you an advantage or a disadvantage. So it is kind of pointless, even though there's technically a gate that you can glitch through when you have low FPS, but it doesn't help you in running the game any faster. So that's it regarding external tooling, except for LiveSplit. There's a LiveSplit integration. Just start LiveSplit, choose Dragon's Dogma 2, and you should get an auto splitter that is maintained by me. I have to manually update it every time the game gets an update. If I should not notice that there's an update, feel free to hit me up on Discord, on the speedrun Discord for this game, or on the official Discord for the game as well, and I will update it as quickly as I can. Usually takes a few minutes to update it. It auto splits on quest changes, and it also does load remove of the timer. So you have a load remove time, but the submitted speedruns to speedrun.com are measured in real-time attacks, so it doesn't really help you. It's just a timer that shows what it would be without load times, but those load times are really short, so the difference is negligible at the end. Alright, so that's it. I will switch to the browser later on to show you a few things, but for now let's go to the game. As I said, I restored my save game with using the save game manager. I have no idea how you would do this on console, because it would mean that at the end of every run, you would have to do either another run, or if you failed, you would have to complete the run by gathering all the items again that you need for the next run, which sounds remarkably annoying, because you need quite a lot of items, as I will show you in a minute. So in this case, I loaded this game, and the point where I load in is here. It is right before the end of the game. This is the final fight, so to say. And I made sure that my pawn's inventory is completely empty and my storage is completely empty. So all the items that I have are in my inventory. All the items that would be, if it wouldn't be empty, that would be in my storage, or that would be in the inventory of my pawns, would show up in the storage when we restart a new game. So this is important. When you create your character, make sure that all your items that you need, you have in your inventory, and the rest is completely empty. Otherwise, you're going to be annoyed because you have to do another run of the game to do this. Also note that at this point, I cannot return to any other area of the game. I'm logged in. It is worth considering, as you can see in my save manager, I have a save game right before that. That is right before, at the inn, right before we get warned that we should save by an NPC. And this is a save game that I can load in case I want to change things, buy stuff, sell stuff, get other items, reskill or whatever. So that is handy to have, just in case. Regarding inventory, you need quite a lot of stuff, as you can see here. I have a few items to heal. It's just a mincemeat Roborant. And we do need a lot of those. It used to be that you can stack them to 99. I have a few, not exactly as many. This is actually for weight reasons. I will talk about weight more in a bit. But you need quite a lot of those. Like I noticed at some point that 60 can under circumstances not be enough. So you can just max it. There was an update that increased the max stack size of items. I don't know if it applies to this, and you can like take more than 99 of these as a stack. But it's really not necessary. So with like 80, 90, you should be fine. Lantern oil is not really that important. You need your lantern maybe like in a few areas and caves. Really important are your fairy stones. I guess you would need like half of those, 10 or something. It's been a while since I counted. This is like an easy item to collect because you can just buy it when you create your character. You have to do multiple new game runs to gather all your stuff anyway, and this should be the least problematic to gather during those runs. If you are on console and you have to make sure that at the end of every run you have enough items, it might be a bit more annoying though, because you have to go shopping to replenish the ones that you use during your run, and that costs quite a bit. It's like 10,000 per fairy stone. Or you can gather them at places that are not along your route. You do need at least 3 port crystals. You get a 4th one during the run, so you have 4 in total. This is the bare minimum, and it's also the only ones that you need in order to do this run quickly. So at any point, because you can pick them up, at any point in the game, you will never have more than 3 of those put down, which is why I take exactly 3 with me in order to minimize the weight of my character. Note that I am light. it is possible during the run to be very light once you no longer need all of your equipment, your armor, and not necessarily all your weapons. And you have put down port crystals during your run, so because these are quite heavy, 2 kilograms. So during the run, it might be that you are very light. But I stopped looking for this specifically and forcing this because it turns out that it's not much of a difference when it comes to movement speed. You do need a few wake stones, specifically 2. The rest is backup. 2 to 3 are kind of good. Wake stones basically allow you to jump from great height if that shortens your travel time. It comes with the cost of dying. So you have to revive yourself, which also costs a little bit of time, but it's at these points quicker than actually like finding a safe way down. You need 1 at the very beginning, 1 at in Bethal to quickly get to the Oracle, and then there are a few optional points where you can make use of those, and it's also quite okay to just have 1 or 2 in case you should die, which is quite improbable, but it might happen. Then, really important, unmaking arrows. So these are annoying because you can get 1 per run of the game. Or actually, you can get 2. You can buy 1 and you can get 1 from the Sphinx, which is why I have more than I have run on this account. So it's possible to get 2. I didn't get 2 on every run. But yeah, it will take you quite a few runs to get those. I will use 1 of those right before I even start the game at the very end here to end this iteration of the game. So there's 8 for the run itself. And that's pretty good amount. So there's a bare minimum of 3 to 4 that you need. And it's always good to have a few backup arrows, as I will explain later, in order to mitigate like risk when you, for example, get ambushed during Oxcart travels. These are really important in case you played the game casually. You might only think that an unmaking arrow is an arrow that instantly kills any enemy. A lot of players that I see, for example, in the official casual gameplay Discord don't know that they have a large area of effect and actually kill every creature in a quite large radius. So those allow us to wipe entire areas of enemies, and this is extremely handy for this run because we spend most of the time doing the monster culling quest, which involves killing groups of mobs. Then there's the Wyrmslav crystals. You need exactly 15. These are just for the quest where you need to gather 15 in order to repair the Dragon's Bane, God's Bane, not Dragon's Bane, God's Bane blade. Those you don't need here, but you cannot drop them. They are basically an indicator of how many iterations you ran the game, and it's actually quite hard to get rid of them. There used to be techniques. I think I actually managed to lose 1 or 2, but by now these possibilities were patched out. You used to be able to give them to your pawn when you give away your pawn and get rid of them that way, but this is no longer the case. So as far as I know right now, you are not capable of getting rid of those anymore. But they don't weigh anything, so it doesn't really matter. Then you need 3 weapons. You need some bow, because you want to use the unmaking arrow. You need some daggers, because that is your movement weapon. You want to move as a thief, because that's the fastest movement. And you need some staff, because we use the levitate. This is, strictly speaking, optional. I think it's the fastest way to do the run. But as I will show you different alternatives, it's not strictly necessary to have this. And regarding the also you need some you need these courtly Tunic and Breeches because you need them for the quest for the coronation, and you don't want to spend time picking those up, although technically it would be a detour of like a second to pick those up. But the thing is that, as you see here, all of them are leveled, and in my opinion, don't waste time picking the best in slot improvements for those. For example, these are the Dwarven improvements. And as you can see here, I used in previous accounts, not accounts, in previous iterations, I used to have like the best in slot weapons with the best in slot improvements, and they are quite annoying to get the resources for the Dwarven improvements. In my opinion, don't bother. Pick the lightest weapon that you can get. These are actually the lightest staff, daggers, and bows in the game. And then just use the easiest to get improvement, which is usually the one that you can get in Vernworth at the Armorer. And the important part, and that is why you need a lot more Worm's Life Crystals, is because you want to get these improvements. I used to have also the Dragon Forged weapons, which is why I actually for this character originally needed like 700-800 Worm's Life Crystals. But in my opinion, again, this is pointless. Just get these improvements because they halve the weight of your item. So you want the lightest item, and you want the Dragon Forged improvement on level 4 in order to reduce the weight of the item even further. And the rings, these are the best rings to reduce your weight again. Moderately increases the maximum amount of weight that the wearer can carry. As far as I know, there is no better item for that, but there might be. Like sifting through the wiki, I didn't find any better item. All right, and that's the items that you need. Now, how to get those? The easiest way to get a lot of Worm's Life Crystals is in the Unmoored World, but it is capped because things don't respawn there that drop Worm's Life Crystals. You can already gather quite a lot of them before the post game, and the trick to do that is to have 3 pawns. One of them is a mage, and that mage should have the, give me a second, the Celestial Paean spell. Just pick a pawn, hire a pawn that has this. You can see it in the list. This allows this means that pawn is not gonna heal you, but also increase your stamina. And the other 2 pawns and you yourself are gonna be Thief, not Warfarer, but Thief. The 2 pawns and you should have the skill where you can steal stuff when you attack. Pilfer, I think it is. So you have 3 thieves with Pilfer. And you yourself, you should have the Feint skill and actually use it. And what you then do is you go to all the drakes in the game, and you go to their rear part, and you attack just their legs at the back. Doesn't matter. Just hit their legs with daggers. No special attack, nothing that kills, because you want to kill them as slowly as possible. And you just kill them by 1,000 needle stings, basically. You just hit them as long as you can. And your mage pawn is constantly going to heal you and even replenish your stamina. You yourself are invincible because of a feint. And usually your pawns also don't die because they are healed constantly, but sometimes they do get killed. Then you just pick them up again and continue. And at the end, it's really luck dependent. Sometimes you get like 30, 40 Worm's Life Crystals out of a Drake because your pawns just got lucky looting it while hitting it, basically, with a Pilfer skill. And sometimes you just don't get anything apart from the Worm's Life Crystals that you just get for killing the dragon, actually. And those do respawn. Right, so you can kill all of them, wait a bit, kill all of them. And again, the alternative is to do it in the unmoored world where you get more, but you have to do multiple runs to get a lot of those. But then again, you can do like 3 or 4 runs where you basically rush to the unmoored world, get your unmaking arrows, gather Wyrmslav crystals, and then restart a new run, rush to the unmoored world, get more Wyrmslav crystals, and gather those 2. These are easy to get. You can get all of them in one run. Or you can just get them by stacking them with each run. It doesn't really matter. And these, I forgot where these are. Wait a second. I know of one. Let me quickly show you that. This is the map. And there's the checkpoint town. You see my cursor. And there's this road towards Vernworth. And there is I think it's here. In one of those curves. I think it's here, but you can look it up in a map. Ring of Profusion. There it is. Yeah. Exactly. There's a chest. You go up here and you can get to a place where you cannot reach it from this road. You go up here somewhere and there's just a chest with this one. And the other one I also remember right now, it is it's not on the map, but it is in the seafloor shrine in the normal, not post game, in the normal game. When you go down there, talk to that ghost dude, and you leave through using the elevator, then you find it in one of the cells that you need a key for. That is right next in the next room. Open the cell, and there you also get a Ring of Profusion. So that is your 2 Ring of Profusions. By the way, sorry for the accent. Can't get rid of my German accent. You have to live with that. All right, so I think that should be the hard to get items. Wake stones are easy to get. Those are just annoying. You have to wait for resets. There are ways to craft them, but there's basically farming the ingredients isn't really faster. Maybe also a quick tip about that. I forgot what the ingredients are, but I know where to find a lot of them. And that is in the nameless village here. Right at the beginning, there's this hut, and right in front of it, there's a farm with the herbs that you need a lot of in order to craft those. But I tried it, and it isn't really faster than just waiting a lot of days and then on an ox cart bench and then going to the trader, buy the next batch. It's easier to farm the money and wait than to actually farm the ingredients and craft them. But you can give it a try. It's also not slower. It's just equally annoying. Good luck with that. It turned out to be the hardest part to farm for this profile. In general, by the way, you are not allowed to use a mod or a cheat engine table to modify your account. I do personally think that was a bad choice. But it's a choice that was made and is valid for everyone. So you have to grind your character as we all did, unfortunately. But it's not it. You can do this in 6 hours, and those 6 hours are even a little bit of fun. So it's not the worst. Cool. Money, you don't need any, I think, during the run. You will have way too much anyway. So I guess that covers it. Let's actually get to the point where we start with the run. Sorry, this takes a while, but it's also the most the most non-obvious problem in this run. The rest you could technically watch a world record run and you would kind of get what you're supposed to do during this run. Even though I, of course, can give you a bit of background info on the choices during the run. but this is really not obvious, and it's hard to see what runners actually have in their inventory when they restart a game, because we tend not to have the inventory open for a long time. Cool, so this is basically where you will always have to start. This is the last save that you can make. You cannot make any further saves, so you have to sit through this. What you see right now is gonna happen. Every time you restart a run, it takes roughly 2.5 to 3 minutes. I know that because I always show a video on stream while I do this reset. It's quite boring. Alright, so this is the end of the game. Because I have to do it, I will show you the Dragon Percent ending right here. You can skip this fight by just running away. And we do the Dragon Percent ending here because the Dragon Percent ending allows us to start a new game plus. The bad ending does not. So this is why we need an unmaking arrow in order to even start the run at all. So pick your bow, pick a unmaking arrow, shoot the fella, and that is the Dragon Percent ending. And should you actually decide to do your run, do a Dragon Percent ending for your run, you have to do this at the very end, of course, the same way. And this is part of the timer. So this the run is not finished yet. You have to quickly get out of this credit scene here, and the fastest way to do that we know of is to walk towards this door. As soon as you reach that door, the logo should pop up. There it is, the Capcom logo, and that is time. This is where you're when this appears, this is when the time is measured. The auto splitter actually stops at the end of the logo due to the memory being kind of weird, and I didn't find a better way to do that. So in case you do use your auto splitter as a timer, the moderators will just subtract like 2 seconds from your time, because we defined the end of the run to be when the Capcom logo appears. Or you can just subtract it yourself in video and do the moderators a favor. They have to double check it anyway. Alright, so this is where you can actually now start your run. You get asked quite a few times if you really want to start a new game, a new game plus, and we want to do that. So the first thing that we get to is character creation. In contrast to new game runs, this is really easy because we just use the character that we already have. It asks us if we want to reuse the character, and we most obviously want to do that. If you want to know how your choice of body is extremely important when it comes to movement speed, look at the guide about new game runs at the very beginning to see how to choose your body. Because I don't want to repeat all of this. Is quite a topic. Just look at that video to see how to build your body. It's gonna look weird, but it is important. It really impacts heavily how fast you walk and run in this game. By the way, we do the run as Warfarer because we need to combine different weapons, as you might have guessed from the inventory, but we cannot choose Warfarer yet, so we choose Thief because it has the fastest movement. And the run starts after this as soon as the dialogue ends and we get control over our character. So let's go ahead. The beginning is as boring as it is on the new game run. We just have to do all this tutorial shit here. You can talk to him to make him stop. Makes it a bit easier to get like past him, because sometimes he's just gonna be a dick and block you. But you don't have to. If you want to skip cutscenes, you can already press tab or the console key that you use to skip cutscenes. You can press it before the cutscene starts. If you have multiple cutscenes in a row, you can just keep pressing it. You don't have to start pressing it when the new cutscene starts. That would make you lose a tiny bit of time. We do not know any way around talking to these guys. Also, if you have like optimal speed at this very beginning here, you don't lose time because you bump into things or whatever, then as soon as you get down there and you are supposed to pick up that stone, the very millisecond you want to pick up the stone, a dialogue with a woman starts. I actually have no idea where that woman is, but it keeps you from picking up the stones. So I spam skip dialogue and then press E to pick up the stone. As you have seen there was like for a short time a dialogue started. It is unfortunately timed. And it only happens if you are actually fast here. If you're a little bit slower, then it's not a problem. You can put down the stone here. Here. Where the light area starts. And I put it slightly to my left so I don't stumble over it when running, but sometimes it just happens. The game is a bit random in that regard. There's a sound cue when you can start running. And we run towards this fight scene here that we just skip by jumping down here or running straight ahead towards the passage that we run to now. This also skips the fight completely. And there we go here. I will talk about movement a little bit later when I have a little bit more time and it makes more sense. But you can already see what the movement is going to be about. In New Game Plus we actually have the robber runs to fill up our stamina, so we will use it a lot. There's 3 cutscenes here. And then we have this to skip this dialogue. If you are quickly away from this guy enough, he will not be annoying and ask you, like he does now, why you run away. If you do like this and don't get blocked by some geometry, then you can get a little bit faster away from him before he starts to bother you while you run away. Get past those fellas. We cut straight ahead here to avoid going to these guys and starting a little cutscene. And also we don't want to fight them. And we get to this part where you just, as quickly as possible, try to choose your pawn that you already have. Just click those buttons or use your keyboard or controller. And then it's just a matter of skipping these dialogues. The second dialogue here, after the second line you can move again. There's the small cutscene and then you just run straight ahead towards the inn ahead of you. And after we sleep here, there's no way around sleeping here. This area is actually kind of fenced off until we slept. We have to quickly do menuing here. This is actually quite a hard menuing part if you want to do it fast. So the first thing you do is you do organize storage withdraw. You can use shift to select multiple items. This is faster than picking them one by one, and then press F to pick them up all. Get out. Go one back, go vocation guild, change vocation and change to warfarer. Yes, we do not want to go to the equipment menu. Get out, then go to the equipment menu. You drop your shitty armor that you got when starting the game and your shitty daggers. Equip everything else. And this is your setup. And you want to have the mage stuff equipped now. If you don't switch to it, the order is kind of random, depending on how you made your character. And then I suggest you go here and there in order to skip talking to that guy down there. You can fall down here and don't get any damage. Whenever you move, you want your daggers equipped, and you always want to do this cutting wind, followed by an attack and a dash forward. Then this, attack dash forward, this, attack dash forward. So it's always left click, right click, this, left click, right click, this. And if you do it smoothly, it looks like this. And you regularly do Control G or whatever it is on the controller to fill up your stamina again. This movement you're gonna do all throughout the run. Except in a few areas when you don't want to start a fight. Or in very narrow areas where we'll talk about this specifically, where you don't want to have this movement. So now what we want to do is, and you might have already wondered why we go here and not there, because this is where we are supposed to go. We want to skip this entire. Let me pause the game, the timer. This is where we are supposed to go, but we want to skip it, and there are 3 ways to skip that. Melve completely, including the mission where you have to escort Gregor and go to the castle, and we don't want to do that because A, it's faster to skip it, and if you look at the pause screen here, you see the map. Instead of going like all this way around here to Vernworth, we skip ahead to the Elven forest area. And right here is the Trevor mine that we have to go later to for the monster culling quest. So we go down here. This is our way towards Vernworth. We put down a port crystal here, the best spot that I think to place it down, because you are never aggroed by any creature is here. And then you run to Vernworth, continue with the quest line there, and later on when you do the monster culling quest, you teleport back to your port crystal and go over here to the back entrance of Trevor Mine and continue with the monster culling quest. So how do we skip Melve? There are 3 skips for that. And I made a specific video about those when I discovered them. Unfortunately, as far as I know, all of them are only possible in New Game Plus because we need movement techniques for any of those. The first one is my least favorite because it's super unreliable. It's the waterfall skip. And for that, you actually need to go to Melve. You can skip into this city by jumping over or levitating over the wall at the very right when you enter the area. You can skip the cutscene, jump over the wall, and go into Melve. This is the tower with the ballista on top. And behind it there's the waterfall. Let me pull on volume here. And this one is quite tricky because you can only get over here as far as... there's a way to get over here using harpies, summoning them. But this takes quite a while. What is faster but pretty hard is to use levitate. You use the levitate skill where you rise up, where you gain height by holding the levitate button. Not the one where you just levitate on a constant height, because you travel faster doing this. And you want to get like halfway there, actually start dying here, and then jump up again and repeat that. You can only do this once, so you need to do this with one in-between jump, and you need to get far enough to suicide here. We will actually also die here using another route, but this is possible. It is technically the fastest by like 1 or 2 seconds in my measurements, but the route that I prefer, I'm also not good at that, and I could be faster, so I'm pretty sure this one is high risk, low reward compared to another method. The second method is the Ancestral Chamber. It takes the longest, but the reason why I keep including it is A, because it's cool. It's actually the only glitch that we have in the game, and we don't use it, but I think it's a quite cool technique. And it allows you to play as a thief, which allows you to use feint, because you cannot use Meister skills when using Warfarer, but you can use your Meister skill if you play as a thief only. So you cannot use the Unmaking Arrow, which is a big disadvantage. You have to do a longer skip. This skip takes longer than the rest by a long time, actually. Maybe even a minute. But you have feint, and feint makes you move faster for the rest of the run. And that's a big advantage. So actually I never even tried doing the run this way. Have fun giving it a try. I think it might be actual fun. to do the routing as a thief. It is quite annoying to get up here because you don't have levitate. It can be a little bit easier than I struggled here quite a bit, but this geometry is super weird and glitchy, and yeah, it's also not easy. But you can get up there with like one jump if you're lucky or good. And then you need a pawn. Make them follow you closely to get them here, because you need your pawn to glitch through the wall. Oddly enough, you cannot make your pawn glitch through the gate, as far as I know. But you can make it glitch through the wall next to the gate by putting it down while standing quite close to the wall. It takes a few attempts usually. You put them down and then you directly walk into them. And for a short time, they don't have collision and end up on the other side, at which point you save and you return to title, reload the game. And when you load back in, let me skip to that. They are on the other side and they open the door for you. So in that case, you can run through the ancestor chamber. In case you've never been in here, it's closed from both sides. I have no idea what the devs thought about it. To my knowledge, and I googled this quite a long time and looked through a lot of Reddit threads, no one knows how to get in here without having skeletons spawn that open the door for you or glitching through the door. And the skeleton spawning also seemed to be glitched. There was even a patch that is supposed to fix it, but it's not fixed. And yeah, it's a weird area. But you can just, with the glitch, run through here. You use a wake stone to get down here quickly, because the ladder takes forever. And then you are in the forest area at roughly the same point that you get for the other two methods. And the third method is the one that I suppose you do. I don't have to show you in video because I can show you in game. I'll keep showing the save manager. So back to the game, resuming our timer, and we can get up here pretty easy. You don't go down here, you don't go to the very top, but you go to this small area in between here, and you want to be running, then you can just levitate over here. Can be a bit annoying sometimes. Get up here. You can cancel your levitate by pressing jump, and sometimes it is faster because then when you're close to the edge, your character pulls itself up. You levitate here, cancel, levitate to be a little bit quicker, and then you can actually just use these very conveniently placed plateaus here. There's invisible walls right next to you all the way, but they left just as much space as is necessary to actually traverse these areas here. So here's an invisible wall, you see. You always have to jump a little bit to the next plateau. It's actually quite easy, but if you do a run and you like try to be as fast as possible, sometimes you fall down here, and when you fall down there and die in the water, you spawn up here again. Here you cannot stand, you have to levitate until here, so you can stand again here. This area here is quite annoying. You can easily glitch down here, keep running towards the wall here, into the wall, and then you can jump up here and here. And then I do aim for, you see the top of my staff where it points at, like the left edge of the waterfall. I aim towards that, levitate, and around here you can start falling, I think. And you land here and suicide right next to the waterfall. And with a quick levitate you get over here and you are in the Malachite Forest, I think is the name. Just run ahead following the river. There are spawns of very annoying crows here. They are not here right now, but if they are here, the crows are the creature in the game that draws your auto aim the hardest. I have no idea why, but these are extremely annoying. You will see. You can jump over here using levitate. Otherwise there's like a an easier way to go over there, but it's slower. Pick daggers to be faster, put down a port crystal here, as I've mentioned earlier, and then we go this way towards Vernworth. Technically, there are more optimal points to place that port crystal that are closer to both of your targets, but they are crowded with like mobs, and you cannot put those down when there are mobs nearby, which is why I stopped doing that and actually place it down at the bridge. It ends up being faster in the end. And then you just follow the route that I will show you now. You can try to find a little bit more optimal ways to just traverse the terrain. At some points it's quite annoying. Like this slide that is coming up here is pretty weird. But ultimately your main problem here is like weird terrain features and enemies that draw your auto aim. Time-wise, actually, the best times I got was around like 9 minutes to arrive at Vernworth. Timing is actually quite crucial in this run because we want to do missions like in quite a perfect order, such that we do the 2 castle missions, Dee's Plot and an Unsettling Encounter, the ones that are extremely similar stealth missions, supposed stealth missions. You want to do them in one night, and in order to do that we have a quite strict timing. So because I have to explain things now, I might mess that up and have to actually sleep a night. If you get here, your guard is not happy, and you will get to the... You get actually a specific extra cutscene that I think you don't get when you play the game normally, as intended. So they kind of thought of this back entrance route. Pick enough of this farce here, the second option. It's quite a bit faster than the other. And at this point, we proceed normally. So that was actually quite a sequence break. We skipped a few missions there, I think 2 or 3 quests. The whole escort part, the Melve fight and cutscene part. And fighting the Cyclops. And this is substantially faster by roughly 4 to 5 minutes. Pick, tell the truth here, don't lie. Otherwise you have to talk to the little child. And then run over, you want to talk to him. To Brand. I think Brand is his name. Run in here, try not to smash him into walls. You put him down here. Talk to him. He will walk away after you finished your first dialogue with him. You need to talk to him twice to start both quests. We start by starting monster culling. And then try to talk to him without accidentally sitting down on that bench and without him getting away. Talk to him a second time, start the second mission about Queen Regent. And then you put down a port crystal here because we have to return here every time we hand in a quest. So at this point, there are actually a few choices about in what order you do the remaining quests. You have to do the monster culling quest, which are these 3. As in the NG run, I highly suggest not doing the eastern part at night. Do it at daytime, because there's a bridge right in front of it and there tends to spawn like a necromancer ghost thing, and it's too close to your mob that you have to kill. In the NG Plus run you have the benefit of having the unmaking arrow. Pause the timer. So this is not an extreme time loss, but you want to avoid it nonetheless. These 2 eastern parts, western parts, you can do them at any time. I tend to do them in order, east and then the 2 west ones. Remember, you can teleport here to your port crystal and take the back entrance to Trevormine here. So usually the optimal route, in my opinion, is do the eastern one, teleport here, go down through the mine, and then do this one last, and then you can teleport back to the city. And if you have quests left, you can do them then, and that is actually what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna first do monster culling and then the 2 castle missions, or you can do them in any order, but keep in mind that you can do these only at night, and you have to do these quick enough that you have enough of a night left to do both of these. And we might fail this because of me being slow and the time in the game progressing, but when you just do the run, it's certainly possible. So let's do the monster culling quest. We start with east. Quickest route is down here. The NPCs appearing out of thin air right inside you is extremely annoying. I have no idea how they managed to screw up a game engine this hard in 2024, but they did. So you go through here. There's a hole in the gate here, or in the fence. Jump over here. There's multiple ways to get up there. The one in NG that we use is just jump up here. You can also do things like this to go up here, but I usually also just do the one where I just jump up here. Or you can also... sorry, didn't want to do that. You can also use levitate. You can levitate around this actually, but it's easy to fall down and lose time. Or you can jump up here just as we do in the NG run and climb up here. But it's basically, you do it in one motion, just jump up those 2 steps. It's quite easy. At this point, take this one, levitate over here and try to land on the upper part. Not like this. I messed this up. You can land at a height where you don't get stunned because you fall too deep. And then just move down here and proceed this way. By the way, your pawns are in this run extremely annoying. You only have your main pawn and he doesn't really die. Usually, actually, him or her dying would be the best case scenario, but it never happens. Because they're of no use and they can just delay stuff or be in the way when you move. Go over here. And right across the bridge is our first mission. So we pick our bow, equip the unmaking arrow, and try not to miss. Try not to go as near if you don't have to, but in this case one of them survived, so this is like worst case scenario. Because as soon as you get close to these guys, they want to talk to you.
Don't let them touch the shipment.
Oh, there's still one left. Usually all of... Why did so many survive? That's a typical case of like
They're a tenacious lot.
bad luck when you actually show stuff. Usually they all die. Sometimes one of them manages to survive and then you have this dialogue with the guys. Oh, I forgot to resume the timer. Anyway, once you kill them and the quest is done, just move ahead to the Malachite Forest where you put down your port crystal. As soon as you arrive here, pick up your port crystal, you need it, and move down here. Is a bit zigzag, but it allows you to not have to jump down. There are usually harpies here, which are quite annoying, because ideally you want to get down here without fall damage or getting stunned because of falling, and then move down here as quickly as you can, because over there is the back entrance to the Trevor mine. We use a slightly different entrance than we use in NG, where we jump down that big hole. We could do it here as well, but in my opinion it is faster to take the entrance where you have to levitate up or use concussive leap. Sorry. Bit wacky movement here. I really don't like the terrain here. You don't have to jump here, by the way. If you stick close, you can just use forward movement and glitch up some of those steps. you move up here and you press against this ledge, right next to the ladder, this tiny crease. It's usually more consistent to actually pull yourself up. By the way, we're already up at the point where the evening starts. Usually it starts to get dark when we leave this cave, time-wise. Again, this is a group of mobs that we have to kill. So try to not mess up your shot. I can't find any enemy. Maybe we take this one. And this one usually survives. As soon as the yellow area on your minimap disappears, you are good to go. And usually the best thing that you can do is jump down here. Heal. Hope that they don't destroy the bridge. They can. And at this point I usually run without using any movement techniques. Just normal running. Because it is a little bit easier to dodge those torches. But yeah, as you see now, sometimes they just lucky hit you. Actually, quite often they just lucky hit you. Here again, same problem. And ahead here, we have two of them with an explosive barrel that we don't want to trigger. So that is why it's usually faster to run through this part of the cave. Over here you can run straight ahead as we do in NG and then take a right turn, or you can levitate up here. I'm still not sold on which one of those is faster. I think they're roughly equally fast. You get over this bridge. By the way, for some reason I actually managed to get rid of my pawn. I have no idea how I did that. And it's a little bit hard to see in the dark, but there's this rock here and you want to go left of it and slightly down this plateau here, where you can move down into the riverbed and proceed inside the riverbed. It's exactly the same routing as in the NG run. But you're a little bit faster because you have infinite stamina basically. Jump down here. Do 2 forward cutting winds, and the cutscene saves us from drowning, but it extinguishes our light. So we move ahead. You can go to the hut to your right first and activate the port crystal there and then go down the cave, or you can do the cave first. In NG+, I personally prefer to go down here first. Down here you actually have a choice. You have to kill this group there. The ridge is pretty easy. Then you can move ahead there, following the cave, and at the end, without getting up, you can shoot the lizards up there with an arrow. But sometimes they like to hide behind the the stone columns that are there, and it's pretty hard to hit them or inconsistent. The alternative is to get out your stuff or use any other movement technique to get up here. Destroy this and go down here. It's a little bit longer, I think, when it comes to the distance that you have to travel. But you have a way easier shot when you are here on those lizards because they're quite close. Of course I missed them because I said it's an easy shot. That is why you always bring a few more. Actually, I could swear I hit them. But you see this weird animation when they actually die, and then you can run away. You see like this pop-up. You rescued the soldiers in Harbor Village as soon as you killed all the mobs here and you done your quest. They report back to Captain Brand means that you actually finished monster culling. This is important because sometimes the game decides not to update and realize that you actually killed those lizard folks down there. Make sure that your quest is actually done before leaving this cave, otherwise your run is ruined, because you will notice back in Wernworth. Once you talk to this man, it's unfortunately not possible to avoid it. Go down here, activate the port crystal, we need it later, and move on to Wernworth. This is the one that you placed next to Brand. And now the question is if it's already too late to do both quests that are coming up. We start the first one by running up here towards the castle.
Follow me.
Skip her dialogue, then ignore her and run past her. The mission, this and the next one, are framed as stealth missions. They are not. You can actually go through the main entrance here without a problem. The movement is weird here because it seems that they want to talk to you, and that does not allow you to use some of your movement techniques. It feels a bit wonky. I have no idea why, but just ignore it. Just move straight ahead, pick up the ladder here, and wait for this dialogue and cutscene to skip. As soon as we are outside, for the second mission we have to take the side entrance, which happens to just be below the window of this young man, or the room that we're in. I think this is not his room. So we jump down here. It's usually actually faster to jump down here and get damage than to slide down without doing this. Put down a port crystal here, and then move to the northern one of those two. It's usually the second one. The one that you placed first is now called Vernworth 2. Don't ask me why. And as soon as you get in here, you want to wait for Brand to load in and talk to him. Pick him up, move him here, and by talking to him you make him start the movement towards this table, and we don't have to carry him here a second time because now he wants to just stay at this table and wait for you. So we hand in all our quests. We did the monster culling quest, we hand in this one, and now we have to wait on the bench next to us for one amount of wait time in order to start the next quest. And this might be too late. This looks quite bright. So in this case, you should not have this problem. In this case, I will just wait until the next night because I don't want to run to the castle and notice at the castle that we're too late. So there he is again. Talk to the man, pick him up. But again, try not to get in this situation. Just be fast enough to not have this problem. Then you can start the next mission. Tell me about Allard.
That alone is the regent kin. He bids you to use this I shall ensure that the door.
We fast travel to the one we put down. Again, it's the second you put down, so it's number 1. And we need that port crystal later on, so pick it up as soon as you get here. In general, apart from the one in Vernworth and one in Bethal later on, you always want to pick up your stones after you use them. Most of them are single use. We take the exact same route up here. Run down here, start this cutscene. The game in casual phrases is like you have to wait for them to get out in order to sneak in and steal their stuff. But especially if you have these clothes on, you can just run in here and they don't give a crap. Pick up this, make sure it actually picks it up. Sometimes it makes this quest update sound and you think you picked it up but you didn't. Run out here, don't jump, just run. You don't have to pull out your weapon, I just fat fingered that, and then you can travel back to Vernworth to your port crystal. And that concludes basically all the missions in Vernworth that are not just cutscenes. We don't need the port crystal now anymore, you can pick it up. Talk to this man, hand in your quests. Then you talk to him again and he says like one sentence. And that's the entire dialogue. Blah blah. We talk to him again, one sentence. We talk to him again, make sure you pick Coronation, not the first one accidentally, or you have a longer dialogue to skip through. And start this quest, which involves just skipping 2 cutscenes. And then waiting. So those are our 2 cutscenes.
The false sovereign. According to
now
Regent
we were
Ken,
betrayed or whatever, or
the
something
two
is
alas.
like super bad because like they can control pawns, whatever. You sit down and wait like one cycle. By the way, the end of this cutscene, these cutscenes that we just skipped, seem to be always at the same time. So we're always at evening here,
We are to strengthen
no matter what time it was when you started the quest. And then you talk to him about coronation again, and he will hand us the border entrance permit,
You all pass through the border.
and we can move on. We're done with Wernworth. We head over to Bethal now, which we do using the ox cart. It's the fastest way, because we want to get arrested at the checkpoint gate. So you go down here, wait for the next day for the ox cart to be ready. There might be a problem
If our
here.
destination is a distant one, travel by ox cart might
Where
be
is he
worth
going? I think I never had that problem. It's a bit weird. Get back here, sir.
I'll need to see some coin of 4 and let you on.
And now you have to be lucky to not get ambushed at a bad spot. There's one spot that you often get ambushed, which is right in front of the bridge. It's fine enough. In any other case,
I'll not take that from you.
like this, you get out your unmaking arrow and deal with this man. Sit down
One might confidently call that
and finish your thing. Sometimes there's quite a lot of mobs, like in different groups, and it's way harder to kill them with one unmaking arrow or two. Sometimes you just get screwed so hard you have to reset, but in general it's fine. I have no idea how I managed to get rid of my main pawn. This is optimum. It's usually not the case. At this place you would press 4 for your main pawn to wait and not follow you up here. This is really important, because you'd want to die now and he keeps defending you. Because we want to die now, we also get rid of our clothes. Actually, we can discard them. We no longer need them, and we want to be naked here. Start this cutscene and hand over our entrance permit.
go on.
And as soon as we press now 4 again, there's our main pawn, by the way, because he the order for him to stop it gets cancelled, so we have to reissue it. Then you get over here, you want the gate to fall down and him to be trapped on the other side. You put down a port crystal here, and then you attack this. Oops, not like this. You attack this until you get aggroed. Move over, oh, not like this. You move over to these two and jump up when they attack you and hope that you get thrown to the ground, which I messed up. It's a timing thing. He will instantly start the attack where he tries to bump into you with his shield. Try to be in the air when that happens. And if you're close enough, they will instantly arrest you. Otherwise, you have to wait to die, which is what we did now. By the way, don't run to that group of those 2 soldiers directly, because that will start a dialogue with them. You first want to aggro the one next to the gate. And then run over to those 2 so they instantly attack you. You can get out here with that key. You can have that key in your inventory from a previous run, or you can actually bribe your way out of here. Bribing your way out of here has the benefit of you not having to re-equip your shit, because now you have. We re-equip this. Technically, and this is important, let me quickly talk about this. Technically, we no longer need any armor. This one we get when we get arrested. This one we got for a quest. These 2 are always fine to have. And technically, we no longer need the mage stuff. So you can like save weight by dropping that. And this is when you place those down in a minute and you drop this, you are very light from this point on. That is certainly a possibility to do, to have a very lightweight inventory from here on. Very important. put down a port crystal here. And then follow up here.
Oh,
Now you can go to the city center or the beginning to your actual quest right now and go back to the beach later, or you can go to the beach first and place down a port crystal there. I tend to put this down here and go to the beach first. There used to be a very good reason why we go down to the beach first, but I think with the current strat it's no longer necessary. And the reason for that is that we need to talk to Ambrosius when we get down there, and we might get attacked by a griffin. And the idea is that you just manage to sneak in a port crystal, and when you later return here you don't have to get past the griffin again and you cannot get attacked by it, but it's really unreliable. My suggestion is to have Shadow Wheel equipped. I should have probably talked about the skills, but anyway, have this equipped and then hope that you don't aggro the harpies up there. You can tell your pawn to stop there in order to maybe attract their attention. You run over here. As soon as you're here, you no longer need that skill. Pick up this blue crystal. Put down a port crystal. If you are aggroed, you cannot do this, and this is bad.
now we can return to this
And
location.
then, as soon as you did that, you can return to the one that you put down earlier, which is here.
And whenever we've a ferry stone to hand,
This is just a temporary one. Not the one that you put outside the lab, but
that
actually
went
this
as well as we
one.
might have hoped. Let us
And
cast
now
our
we
eyes
go
out
to where we
and
actually
analyze
want to
the
go.
situation.
Notice that Ambrosius was not there yet. He's there after we spoke to the woman at the pub outside of a city. You have been in a jail at this point, and when you have been in a jail, it's sometimes enough to hit like a guard once in order to aggro them, and aggroing them is bad, which is why I tend to run normally here through this area. Especially here, guards tend to spawn in way too late for you to notice them. And when you attack them, then it's too late. Here, on the other hand, there are usually no guards. The armored guys here are pawns or just regular folks.
Come.
Once you're here, pick her up. We don't want to wait for her to get inside. Don't do this. And also, don't do this.
The people of Her Majesty have many
Just like run in there, don't bump into wall. Stop running before you reach the actual wall. Put her down, and then the dialogue instantly starts. You don't have to run back to the Bathal entrance, Bak Bathal. You can just go outside here and travel to the Bathal one, not Bak Bathal. The Bathal one that you just placed outside where Ambrosius is supposed to be now. We already have the blue crystal that we are supposed to gather for him. Handed in instantly.
By refining such, however, small speaking
And the dialogue, and then you pick up the port crystal that is under you. And our next goal is to go to the Oracle. And the fastest way to go to the Oracle is to go to the checkpoint rest down, which is why we placed a port crystal there. Pick it up. Although maybe this one we don't even need anymore. Might be possible that you can just leave it there. If you really wanna min-max your lightweight, you have to think about it, how many you need from now on, but I think it's just 1 or 2 that you need from now on. So once you're here, you want to fall down here, but you want to do it like in one falling. You don't want to land on these in-between steps, because then you need 2 wake stones to get down here. So you can, for example, do this and try to not mess it up. I often mess it up. Or you can lose Helm Splitter and Concussive Leap, the combination, which you can use to jump a little bit further. But I usually don't have it equipped. I have the Shadow Wheel, rearmament so I can change weapons. I have cutting winds for movement and concussive leap technically for movement, but I never use it, I think. I used to use it, but nowadays I usually use the stuff and the levitation to get at like distant places or higher places. You move around here, and that is the fastest way to the Oracle. That does not involve oops, run out of stamina. That does not involve quite a lot of ox cart luck. Technically, the fastest way to get to her is to take the ox cart and get ambushed at the best possible spot, which is right at the main road. When you follow this path to the main road, right where it intersects the main road, there is an ambush spot, but it is quite rare to actually hit that. Anyway, from now on, I again forgot to do the timer, and we already missed one split. We should be in flickering shadows now. And then we travel to Harvey. Because Luz, the oracle behind us, just told us that we need to talk to the old man at the sea, at the lake. Which we do now.
Oh, so I'd like.
By the way, from after we do this sequence here, we need to go down to the seafloor shrine through the cave that we went in earlier for the monster culling quest. You can actually teleport to the beach and take the back entrance. I don't think it's faster, but it's possible. So you can basically take the exit as an entrance and the entrance as an exit. I tend to use this one here as entrance and exit. Don't mind the weird camera, it's sometimes a bit odd. And very important, when you are in this cave here, just run. Don't do any special movement, any attack movement, nothing fancy, just run. Also, don't jump. You jump automatically at the places where it makes sense to jump by just running down some ledge. Look at your stamina. For example, here you just run down and you jump, usually jump over this guy. He was quite far away this time. But usually you jump over enemies by just running towards a ledge. And you don't auto-target these guys. When you auto-target these guys with any other movement technique, you get stunned, which takes quite a lot of time. And this way, it's actually the fastest way to get through this cave. Usually it's faster to jump down here than to run down the stairs. But only by like sub-second, I think. As soon as you're here, you have the cutscenes and dialogues. And then most runners actually use the elevator to exit this cave. I think it's slightly faster if you do it right. If you don't get stuck somewhere, it's faster to run back the way that you came in. But it's not much of a difference, and it really depends. Like the other way out is extremely consistent because it's very hard to lose time. Most of the time is spent during the elevator, and the way that you came in is now littered with more enemies. And it's easier to get stuck in some geometry here, but I think it's faster. So this is why I show you this route. The other one is quite boring. You need to jump here once. In contrast to what I said earlier, there's one place where it makes sense to jump. Otherwise, even here, just run.
Battle is best avoided here.
When you climbed up like a higher ledge by jumping, then you have to repress sprint. Keep that in mind. And don't forget to look at your stamina bar. I usually replenish it when it's like at 50%. Because the Roborant also only fills it by 50%. If you get used to that, you should never run out of stamina unless you're as bad as I am. So once you're outside here, you want to travel to the lab where Ambrosius waits, and you give him the broken Godbane thingy dagger. Leave your port crystal here. You need it one more time, or actually you can just leave it there because you no longer need it. Need to pick it up at least.
No, what we have when the time
Skip this dialogue. Directly talk to the man. Hand in the blade, and then hand in the worm's life crystals right after he tells you about them.
Wait, no.
The dialogue for handing them in should instantly start by itself.
Now, all the better if it happened. You've returned.
This, and now we have to wait for a day. In NG, the fastest way to do that is to get arrested again, but in this case your pawn is right next to you and defends yourself, so it's usually not as fast as and also because you have port crystals. Oh shit, I forgot to place one down. I'm a bit stupid. You were supposed to put one down at the ox cart station that we passed earlier. This was just me being stupid. Sorry about that. So we have to run there. Utterly despicable. You can place it quite close to the ox cart station. I usually place it around here when I run past here, on our way to like the pub at the beginning. I forgot that now. We used to have a strat where we reuse this port crystal later on. I think we no longer need it now. In any case, you can wait for the ox cart here, and it should wait for a day. And that should already be enough to go to Ambrosius. There we are. At this point you no longer need this one, but we only need one more of those in our inventory anyway, so we could have already left even more standing around. If everything's well, this cutscene starts, and the quickest route outside now is to you can run up here and to the entrance, or you can teleport to the ox cart station that you've just been in. I think the ox cart station is a little bit faster, but not by much actually, because the route to the gate is a bit longer. In any case, you want to go towards that gate that you have to open with a blade now, and there's this cutscene starting here, or if you take the other route out through the temple, it starts when you exit the temple. If you have 30 FPS or lower, oops, I didn't want to do that, sorry. You can actually glitch through this door. Technically it's a little bit faster, but no one does it. You would have to have like a trigger for your FPS limiter. Yeah, and it's not really worth it. There wasn't even the discussion if FPS limiters are allowed, so yeah, I don't bother doing it just to save half a second. As soon as this cutscene ends, you want to press escape. You have to be quite fast, because usually you're not allowed to use port crystals or fairy stones at this point, but if you do it right after the cutscene you can, and we want to do that. We want to return here later, and we want to go to a place where we have a bench. You can leave a port crystal in Vernworth, but then you might need one more for the run. I just go to Harvey because it's there anyway, and there's a bench right next to this, in front of this hut here. And you want to wait until the next day breaks. So wait until it's dark, and when it gets bright again, you get up, You sit back down right again. Wait one more time. And then that skips the fight, this entire fight of the Colossus that you would have to wade through otherwise. You can, because you have unmaking arrows, you can instantly destroy these magic daggers or splinters that are inside of the Colossus, but it doesn't kill him. In order for him to actually die, he has to go through the first trigger point, where the game checks if these splinters have been destroyed. And this is quite far into the terrain. You have to wait quite a long while. And running through this area here to its end is actually faster than it takes for him to die. So you lose time. You have to wait at the gate at the end and wait for him to reach the first trigger point. And we want to do that, which is why we do the skip, where we skip the entire fight. The downside is that there are now mobs everywhere, but in NG Plus they don't really pose a threat. We can just run past them. In NG it's quite hard. It's very easy to die because you're one hit. But there's a strat around that I explain in NG, which is quite new. Where you actually would not sit down on the bench a second time, only the first, through the first night. And then you wait another time at the fireplace over there. There's a fireplace where the smoke is coming up. And you just wait there and make the final skip that actually leads to the fight, the skip ending, the fight ending. You actually do that with that fireplace there, and then you don't have mobs spawning into this area here. But in NG Plus we don't have time for that. Oh, messed up there. It's awkward. Optimal routing is not exactly clear, but it's definitely some way down here. It seems that the floor is the fastest way. You actually have a weird camera distance change here. And be careful, don't do this. And there's a slime down here, there. Don't attack it, so go through the sides like I did. Don't go through the center of that narrow point, because you get stuck in that slime and lose time. And don't do that. It's actually the hardest part in this area is to not auto-target every single enemy, because there's just so many of them. Sometimes, like in this case, the auto-aim actually allows you to run further and faster, but it's very rare. It's a timing thing. When the distance to your enemy is just slightly longer than the auto-aim distance, then you or the usual travel distance of your cutting wind, then you actually travel a little bit further. Don't target this magma slime there. You can't levitate far enough to go over here without having to crawl down there. Don't do this. But I still keep doing it because I underestimate the distance of the auto-aim. Move ahead to that gate. Just as in NG, as soon as we arrive at the gate inside of the checkpoint camp up there, or not checkpoint camp, rather the slave camp, you're no longer concerned with these mobs. So not this gate, but the next gate down there is when you no longer have to worry about any mobs behind you that keep attacking you. Especially these blue harpy thingies can be quite persistent. Go through the gate here, and from now on this is basically an auto-scroller. Just move down here quickly. And oddly enough, you have seen like the ending for the Dragon Percent. The Dragon Percent ending just involves shooting the dragon with an arrow once, but then you have to wait through that. You have to walk through that cutscene at the crowning of you as the new sovereign or whatever that is. and that takes longer than the bad ending. The bad ending is just running away from the dragon. So usually runners at this point, like as me, and I think I've also like seen other runners do this, at this point you would kind of check if you even have a chance of beating your PB in bad ending, because bad ending is the fastest ending. Oh, by the way, whenever you take an elevator, you go in the way you came in, the direction you turn 90 degrees to the left, and then you position for the exit once you're up at the end. Yeah, in any case, you at this point I would check if I have a chance to beat my PB in bad ending, and if I don't have that, I do the dragon percent ending and hope that I get a better time there. So kinda the dragon percent ending for me is like the dumping category for bad runs, which is why I think it's kind of pointless, and I don't know why so many runners even did it. It's like the ugly child of the faster ending. The bad ending is bad, but we're speedrunners. We do the quickest ending, right? So, yeah. Which is what we are gonna do now. I will show you the bad ending. I have already shown you the dragon percent ending, and it just involves, again, skipping this fight by just running here. And after this cutscene, you just run away. Pick yes. Skip the dialogue, skip the cutscene, and then instantly the Capcom logo should appear, and that is time for this run. There it is. That's the bad ending. The auto splitter splits at the when the logo disappears, which is now, and yeah, pause the timer a few times too long in between. I just wonder why the time is so good. But I think we actually didn't lose that much time. It was quite a solid run, to be honest. It's probably like 46, 47 minutes. That was the actual time, because I forgot to unpause the timer a few times there. Again, the timer splits at the appearance of the Capcom logo, not at the end. So you can either time that yourself, account for that difference, or have the moderators do it. One more thing, if you submit a run, make sure that the recording contains the character screen at the beginning. How, like, you just have to see the character that is generated. Because of rules. That is part of the rules. It's for fraud detection. So in general, you should read the rules, but I managed to not do that once and have my run invalidated for very good reasons. So don't forget that. Don't be like me. And yeah, that's it. That's the any percent bad ending New Game Plus run for Dragon's Dogma 2. As of now, I'm the current world record holder, and this route that I just showed you, as far as I know, no one else has run it, because all the other runners at this point in time have stopped running it. But there is quite a lot of potential. I think it's certainly possible to go below 43 minutes if you do everything perfect, and there might even be considerations on a little bit better routing, possible time skips, different strategies. This run is by far not engineered 100% yet. There's a lot to be optimized. Please do me the favor and do that. I want competition, and I would love for this game to be run by more runners. I hope you will be one. In any case, have fun running this game. The movement is a bit annoying, but otherwise it's a fun run. And it does not have any very complex movement or glitches. So it's pretty low entry barrier, in my opinion. That's it. Have fun. See you.